Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is BestInSlot and I'm incredibly excited to bring you news about patch 1.4.5 for Jurassic World Evolution tonight. This is an upcoming free content update that will land at some point in the future, and it's going to come along with some paid DLC as well, which we don't know too much about. We're going to find out about that later in the week, so I will have all the information for you on that as soon as I know. But tonight we're going to focus on the free content patch, which not only brings in some much needed, much requested changes, but also confirms that I am indeed psychic, given I predicted in yesterday's video that we would be getting a patch very soon. Maybe Frontier did it on purpose to spook me, but I'm just going to say I'm psychic, so you should, listen to me. Right, so we're going to go through each of the new patch notes that we know so far, and I'll give my thoughts and opinions on each one as we go along. The first two are both brand new additions to dinosaur behaviour. I'm just going to read this first one out. We're happy to announce we're adding two highly requested additions. Group leaders, which means dinosaurs will now look for an existing group leader and follow their behaviour, actively keeping the dinosaurs together as a group, i.e. herd. I added that. Group leaders can change during leadership contests, and the dinosaurs with the highest prestige will lead the group. Groups try to stick together when fleeing from danger and when drinking, eating or sleeping. They can also be herded with the vehicles. So herding is officially in the game. This is something people have wanted for a very long time. It's something that dinosaurs of course did. It's something we saw in the trailer. It's something we've seen in the films. It is a much needed addition to the behaviours in this game, and I'm very excited to see it brought in. I cannot wait to have a herd of Gallimimuses, drop a T-Rex in the middle, and to actually have them flock and run in the same direction. It sounds like it's going to have a system similar to the crown system in JPOG, whereas one dinosaur is assigned the crown, but it does seem it's going to fluctuate a little bit more, because it says it's based on prestige and that there will be leadership contests. Now for me what this means is basically, let's say you've got three Gallimimuses, one of them has 110 rating, the other's all 100, I don't know how relevant that is to actual Gallimimus. The one with 110 rating will have a leadership symbol of some description, so when that dinosaur goes to eat, all the others will go to eat. When that dinosaur goes to drink, the others will go to drink. When it moves, they'll move with it. I assume there will be, some variance in there. They won't all do exactly the same behaviours all the time, because that might look a little bit weird. But generally speaking, having herding behaviour is a really good idea and a very realistic idea. If you then brought in a Gallimimus with 120 star rating, the infamy rating we have in this game, then what I think the leadership contest will look like, if I had to guess, is the same. At the moment there's a system in the game when if you're in your max social need for a dinosaur, as in if a dinosaur can only live with 10 dinosaurs and you have 10, every now and again they'll sort of square up to each other. They won't kill each other, but they'll sort of pose as though they're going to fight. One of them will win and the other one will run away. I have to imagine the leadership contests will operate in basically the same way. So if you flew in this 120 rank Gallimimus, the 110 and the 120 would kind of square up to each other, the 110 would run away, and the 120 would then take over leadership of the group. I love the idea of them all running and herding together. It's fantastic. It is something that should have been in the game from the start, but it's here, it's a free update. Awesome. The other new behaviour that was briefly mentioned is dinosaurs now have sleeping behaviour, which means dinosaurs will now take a nap when they are comfortable and idle. This also combines with groups which will now often sleep at the same time, which makes a lot of sense, because again, that's how the world works. What I'd really like, it isn't mentioned, but just as a cheeky addition, let's say there's a herd of more than 3. If all the dinosaurs are going to sleep, one dinosaur should stay awake as like a lookout. That might be me being an optimist, but I think that'd be a cool addition. Anyways, sleeping is also officially in the game, which again, much needed. These might not seem like big changes individually, but combined with everything else in the game, it's going to make the dinosaurs just so much more realistic and entertaining to watch and have in your park, and that is really important. That is, we've got all these beautiful looking dinosaurs with some great animations, maybe a lack of variety, but great animations and stuff in general, and yet they're not that exciting to watch because they basically do the same thing over and over again. The addition of herding, the addition of sleeping is going to make a huge difference to the realism, and just I cannot wait to watch my dinosaurs live out their lives just a little bit more. I think it's a fantastic addition. I don't really have anything negative to say about the sleeping. What could I possibly say that's negative about that? It's badly needed. If I had one qualm, I must say, I do wish there was a fatigue / stamina mechanic in the game. I wish the sleeping was tied to this mechanic. It seems that basically when your dinosaur is fully fed, fully watered, and not being chased by a predator, they then may trigger a sleep state. Now that makes a lot of sense, but I would have liked to see a mechanic brought in for that exclusively. So when a dinosaur gets below, say, 50% fatigue, it actively looks to sleep to recover that fatigue. I can see why that wasn't added post-release. That'd be harder to do than it would be to have it in the game from the ground up. But I think if they're looking to ever do a sequel or stuff like that, and that's kind of what sequels are good for, by the by, that's the kind of thing that should be added. Moving on, we have the addition of something so incredibly requested as well since the start of the game, a day-night cycle. We've added a day-night cycle to all game modes to enable a more dynamic environment. This feature will be instantly available from the gameplay setting menu in both challenge and sandbox modes, i.e. this one right here on Isla Nublar. But for your career islands, it'll have to be unlocked as a setting by achieving 5 stars on each island, kind of the same at the moment where you have to unlock on 5 stars in order to change the time of day manually. We can't wait to see how the challenges, blah 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 blah. So, a day-night cycle is in the game. Now, in the comments they also confirmed this isn't going to be like a quick change between the night and then the dusk, or the dawn and then the day and then the dusk and then the night. This is a fully fledged, slow-burning day-night cycle. So we're going to get, I mean, that's exciting enough in and of itself, but for me the actual exciting part is we're going to get these whole new lighting settings, you know, where day is turning to dusk or nighttime is turning to dawn for the first time. Those sort of gaps in the middle that we've never had before are going to offer whole new ways of lighting up our park, albeit briefly, but that's going to mean beautiful new ways to take screenshots, new ways of looking at our park, new colours. I'm very excited about that. And it doesn't sound like the biggest deal, but the addition of a day-night cycle is of course a big deal in and of itself. Again, something I think could have been tied with the sleeping system from the start of the game, that I think that would have been a better way overall of handling the mechanic, but given where we are, this is, you know, still a fantastic addition anyway. It is a little bit of a shame that it's tied to the 5-star rating on the other islands, but it sort of makes sense. I think they wanted each island to have a personality that was intrinsically tied to the time of day that sort of is there when you first unlock it. And on the other side, you know, it's nice to have something to look forward to want to unlock. I'm definitely excited to have a day-night cycle in Isla Nublar and during the challenge modes and stuff like that. I think it's going to be something I play with basically permanently, depending on how quick that scale is. We're going to get some awesome time-lapse shots now as well of our parks. 2 more things to go. Less important, those are the big 3. Day-night cycle, sleeping and herding. Those are definitely 3 big changes to the basal game. But we're also getting high capacity feeders, which are just large capacity feeders for your dinosaurs. These are meat and plant ones. There's no goat one. You can't get a high capacity goat. That would be interesting. You could release a goat that has a smaller goat sellotaped to its back. I would have been on board with that, but that's not the direction they're going with. I'm hoping these are things that you maybe unlock on, I would suggest, Isla Tucano, maybe the 3rd island in the game. Yeah, Isla Mur, Isla Pena, Isla Tucano. Yeah, Isla Tucano, the 3rd island in the game. I don't think you want these at the very, very start for obvious reasons. You should have to manage your food actively. And now most of us are playing on sandbox mode. The feeders don't really matter as much, but for those people who do want to play through the campaign, and I'm definitely going to consider going through and playing the campaign again after all this, it'd be nice to have an option for better feeders, because the feeders are a pain, having to be constantly refilled, so even ones that are just double or triple the original values will make a big difference to that. Again, I wish we had a grazing mechanic in the game from the start, but we don't, and again I think that would be something quite difficult to implement into the current mechanics. So I don't really want it to sound like I'm complaining, because I'm really not. I'm just trying to think of ways that I think it could have been done better originally, because I think that's an important thing to acknowledge. But yeah, I'm excited about this as well. I think it's going to make campaign playthroughs a lot less painful, assuming they are unlocked at a decent rate. Again, I think Isla Tucano would be about perfect for when to unlock these. I think any later would be too late, and any earlier would be too early. The other one that's been added, the other new thing, is new contracts. Frankly, I don't really care about this one, I'm not going to lie. There's a bunch of new contracts for you to get stuck into. Can you sell your dinosaur with a certain gene modification, or get the infamy rating to go through the roof? Now, I don't think most of us play with contracts on Isla Nublar. Again, this is something that's going to affect people who play through the game again for the first time, the second time, whatever, if you want to do a replay of the main game. or people doing contracts on their challenge mode. But I don't think I've ever seen anyone have a problem with a lack of variety in contracts. This is a weird change for me, because every other change is like this big requested community feature, something that we've all desperately wanted. I've never seen anyone complain about lack of variety in contracts. Maybe in how the contracts are handled and the prizes, and how sometimes you get a contract that was physically impossible. I think that's been fixed a long time ago now. But hey, you know, more variety is never a bad thing. It just seems like a weird thing to mention as well. And that's it. Those are the 5 changes. Day-night cycle, high capacity feeders, sleeping behaviors, herding behaviors, and contracts. So 4 big changes. 3 that are going to affect absolutely everybody. 1 or 2 that will mainly affect people who are doing playthroughs of the actual game, and of course challenge mode. I am so excited, guys. That is a huge patch. It doesn't address my main 2 problems with the game, which is terrain and decorations, but I feel like those are both bigger deals or harder to handle than dinosaur AI would ever be. I don't know if they're even possible with the game, with how the game is built. I'm just an optimist and hope that it's something that we'll get down the line. But dinosaur AI changes was something you guys were heavily requesting. On that video yesterday, I mentioned those are the 2 big things I want, and the third was probably dinosaur AI, and most of your comments were all about how you want the dinosaur AI in the game to be improved. So there you go. Those are 2 of the biggest changes you get. Some attack herding would be good, you know, group hunting would be a good addition. I think that would be the last major AI change we'd ever need, would be group hunting, and maybe some unique attack animations and stuff like that. But beyond that, I think we're pretty set, and that's really exciting. Now, we are also going to get some paid DLC. Now, we don't really know anything about that at all, unfortunately. I can't really talk to you guys about that. All we know is that we're going to find out more about that later on this week. I imagine it's going to drop at the same time as patch 1.4.5, which again, we don't have a date for, but I suspect 2-3 weeks, something like that. And I'm psychic, so you should listen to me. We don't know anything about that, but we will find out some information later this week, apparently, according to P. Crowther. I will let you guys know all the information right here on the channel as soon as I get it. Let me know in the comments down below how excited you are for patch 1.4.5. I think it's a big deal. I'm really excited. I really want to see my dinosaurs herding and sleeping more than anything else. I think that's going to be a phenomenal change for the game, so I'm very excited personally. Yes, I realise this is stuff that should have been in the game from the start. We've all said that before. It is what it is. It doesn't really do anything to keep bringing it up. You know, we can acknowledge that, but also be excited about the changes. You can do both. It's possible. I'm doing it right now. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. If you are excited about the patch, please do hit that like button. It massively helps me out. Even if you're not excited for the patch, you could hit it. That would help me out as well. Thanks. I'm going to go sleep for 1 billion hours. I'll see you lovely folks next time. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye. A little shout out at the end. This video and others like it would not be possible at all without the support of you guys watching me at home, and also everyone on this Patreon page right here who supported me in the last month. If you want to help out as well, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. Every little really helps. Cheers.